Hi. Ooh, I'm going to the back. You only get to go back here usually when you get caught shoplifting. They bring you back here to yell at you and maybe call the cops. I only know that because I got caught when I was 19. I'm sure Nardwuar knows. Hi!
Hey, Nikki!
Thank you for having me. It's
Thanks
so
so much
good
for
to meet
coming.
you.
That's amazing. Vancouver, BC.
I'm so excited to be here.
2 sold-out shows.
Yes.
There is always room for another show, isn't there?
There is.
A true promoter would always say there's always room.
We should. I think there is a curfew.
Has it happened to you? Like you've done one sold show, never tell the people the show is sold out. We can always add another show.
No, what they do is they do a show, they announce one show, then that sells well, then they announce another one. But no, there's never been like a secret show or an additional one because there's union rules, there's guys.
But you as a promoter never say the show is sold out because you can always add another show.
But
Isn't
Nardwuar,
that a
here's
true
the
circus
thing. The
technique?
marketing part of me is like, you got to tell people it's sold out so you brag. Have you ever noticed that when people, I've noticed this thing when like comedians or, musicians will be like, the show is sold out. And I was just like, why do you need to tell anyone that? No one can go. And it's like, oh, it's to tell people you're killing it. So that's why people do that.
And that's Nikki
Glaser.
and Doot coming up
Doot
an
Doot.
interview. Yeah.
Nardwuar. 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 Nardwuar.
Who are you?
Nikki Glaser.
Nikki Glaser, welcome to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, you didn't have me, but thank you for having me here.
Oh, well, thanks for coming by. And right off the bat, I have a gift for you and for your dad, an Andy Griffith record.
Oh my God, he will love this so much. This is his favorite show. He never shuts up about it. And Andy Griffith and I share a birthday.
Don Knotts.
Don Knotts.
That's who your dad likes, really.
He loves Don Knotts, a comedic acting legend, and just a nice guy, and brings my dad to tears even just talking about
And he
him.
played pool with him?
He did play pool with him one time, I think. Yes, thank you for remembering that. Yeah, my dad will be so touched. I kind of tune out when he starts talking about it because I feel, those stories where your parents like retell them so much, you almost stop listening. But you should listen because you realize you only heard it once and you don't hear it again. So I'll listen next time he tells me that.
And I was pretty excited, though, like Don Knotts, Andy Griffith, the connection. The connection.
It's so good, and this is gonna get framed in my parents' house, and someday I'll inherit it.
And your grandfather was an eye doctor?
Yeah, he was an eye surgeon. Yes. So cool. Like the gooeyest, weirdest thing to operate on that kind of people can't even put in contact lenses, let alone like slice into an eye. So really proud that he did something so kind of just gross because, I kind of dabble in the gross as well.
And that's for your dad and you to watch. But I was noticing just for laughs. Well, to watch Andy Griffith's show. To watch and listen, yes. But that's very Canadian, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Could you please explain?
Just for Laughs is a comedy festival held in Montreal, and I believe they do it in Vancouver and Toronto and Chicago even. But it's like a brand in Canada that is a huge deal in the comedy community. It's like where you have your debut as a comedian to the industry, and agents and producers all flock to Montreal in July to go to this festival and like scout talent. So
Nikki Glaser, thank you, Brady.
Yeah. Thank you, Brady. Like Tom Brady?
No, didn't he discover you? Your agent discovered you.
Did Brad?
Robbie? Was it Robbie?
Robbie.
Just for Laughs.
Robbie was one of the bookers of Just for Laughs, and he was one that brought me on when I was really young. Like, when you go to Just for Laughs, you're.
I'm sorry about throwing Brady in there. I guess a lot of people are throwing Brady in there, haven't they?
They are. That was at top of mind for me.
That was like subliminal, like I was thinking of Brady. So.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
But please give Robbie props. Because thank you, Robbie.
Robbie Pra is his name, so I'll give him Robbie props. He's now the comedy booker, talent booker for Netflix. But he started out at Just for Laughs booking new faces, which is where like new comics come onto the scene. It's their debut, and you audition so hard, and you like get to the next callback. It's like, and then you finally go to the festival and you debut. And I had like a lackluster debut, but you know what? Robbie told me that I should change a joke that I had from MySpace to Facebook because he was like, it was 2007. He was like, people in Canada not using MySpace. And I was like, no, it doesn't work. But I didn't understand what Facebook was. You guys were ahead of the curve on Facebook. Facebook was just like college students in America. So it didn't, for me, it was like, that doesn't make any sense. But he was right because the joke didn't do well here with MySpace.
But here, though, did Canada is it kind of responsible for Nikki Glaser? Like Canada, just for laughs? Kind of.
I mean, sure. I think.
Like, can we take credit?
I would love for you to take credit because I've been coming here, since then. I yearly have done clubs here and traveled all over and
Baseball versus cricket.
Yeah, okay. Is that supposed to elicit some memory for me?
The debaters.
Oh, yes.
The CBC.
Yes.
Canada.
Right. I did like a kind of a debate show at Just for Laughs, and I was pro baseball. And is that what happened?
That was the episode you were on.
Okay.
What have you been? A baseball versus cricket?
Cricket the animal over the sport. Yeah. But the sport cricket, I think, lasts a really long time. So I'm going to say baseball over that because I kind of want it to wrap up. I like sporting events, but I don't want them to last days. I think cricket lasts days.
So Just for Laughs. Yeah. Then we had the debaters.
Yes, the debaters.
And then Not Safe was aired on Much Music, Canada's MTV.
Oh, I remember Canada's MTV Much Music. You could like request, and then they would like put up at the bottom there was a scroll where it like said what you were. Like, you would call in and talk, and it would, like, transcribe what you said. I thought that was so cool. That's always what I remember Much Music about. But, yeah, I guess Not Safe aired on Much Music.
Yes,
that's so cool.
A lot of Canadian content.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, it was on Comedy Central in the States and then on your MTV in Canada. Yeah, it was a show about sex and dating that I had in, like, 2016. Yeah.
Party sniffers.
Party sniffers are, panty sniffers. Yes. Okay. That was a episode we did towards the end of our run because we were running out of ideas. And it was about men who steal women's underwear to collect them and smell them. I mean, it was revolting, but we were trying to celebrate it, I think. But I think they were all criminals.
And Todd Glass was involved, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he was just on that episode and probably was commenting on it. But I don't think he was involved in the bit where I went to the laundromat with the panty sniffers.
But he's still beside you, isn't he?
He stood beside the bit and he co-signed on it. And
he's still beside you, like when you ripped off the clothing of
Benson Boone. Oh my gosh, yes, Todd Glass was sitting right behind us. He was Jim Gaffigan's +1 to the Grammys, and then. At my table, I was with Heidi Klum, and my boyfriend was behind me. They kicked my boyfriend and Heidi's husband out because they were like, "We need to clear the space for the bit that you're about to do. You're about to rip off Benson Boone's shirt." And then they decided they were like, "No, actually, we want someone there." And so they grabbed Todd Glass, and he got to fill in. And I love Todd Glass. So it was so nice to have him behind us.
From Canada to the Grammys.
To the Grammys.
And they said, "Sorry, you can't be a presenter."
Yeah. Yeah, which makes sense because I just wanted to. I was nominated for a Grammy this year for a comedy album, and so I really just wanted an invite to the Grammys. And I would have asked to be a part of someone's act if that was even like an option. If I could have been one of the writhing Gen Zers in Charlie XCX performance, I would have volunteered that. But I just thought my only in to get in there is to be a presenter, and they were like, "No thanks, but do you want to rip off Benson Boone's suit?"
But that's pretty infamous. Like, did you see the Mark Zuckerberg clip? Could you explain that for people that are wondering?
At the Grammys, Benson Boone sang like those beautiful things that have. So in the beginning, it's very slow, and he's kind of sauntering around, and then he gets to our table, me and Heidi Klum, and I wanted to make it look like we're just like, you know how sometimes celebrities get sung to at these events, and they're kind of awkward, like, okay, what do I do? I wanted it to be like, oh, wait, Nikki and Heidi don't know what they're doing. And then all of a sudden we stand up, we're like, we got it. We ripped off his suit, and he was so nice. And I'm the same age as his parents, kind of, and that was disturbing to realize backstage. But really, afterwards, I was like, said to my boyfriend, like, if we had a baby right now, in 21 years, he could be performing on the Grammys. Like, it made me want a kid because I was like, this isn't far off from having a kid performing. Anyway, so Mark Zuckerberg, I guess, was obsessed with the performance because he like commented on it.
You won the Grammys.
Did I win? Oh my God. Cowboy Carter who? No, so Yes, Mark Zuckerberg did it. Like, did the performance, had the suit made and everything, and it's kind of cool because I'm like, oh, Mark Zuckerberg, I guess has at least seen me before, and I don't know if that's cool, but he's he's like scanned, loaded in data of my face, like he's aware of me now, and I guess that's cool. I don't know. Yeah, good for him.
I thought that was amazing. Like from a little skit at the Grammys, it like totally has got an extra life.
Yeah, I think that actually is cool. Thank you for bright siding it. Everyone was saying it was cringe, and I'm like, I don't know. It's yeah, an extra life to it. It's really it was I've said it before, but it really was like I think one of the coolest things I've done in my career because it's just not something you think as a stand-up comedian you're ever gonna get to be a part of someone's like best new artist performance at the Grammys. So it was awesome.
Your dad had TiVo from Charter Cable?
Yeah, my dad was
An early.
Yeah, my dad always had was on the forefront of technology, and especially when it came to TV, because he worked at a cable company all through my childhood, Charter Communications, and so we had TiVo before anyone else. We're recording TV. We had AOL before anyone else. I was in chat rooms when I was like 12, pretending to be.
Well, that's why the Zuckerberg connection is amazing.
Oh, that is amazing. We're meant to be. Yeah.
Did your dad and mom meet through guitar lessons?
They met actually because my mom's brother was my dad's best friend. So my dad's like 5 years older than my mom. So he always kind of knew her as this like pesky little sister that he was like, eh. And then as she, they got older, he was kind of like, what's going on with her? And then she took guitar lessons just to like get to know him. And then she was bad at it. And then it was just like a crush from afar. And then she started going to see him play in bars because he's a musician.
What band was he in? What were they called?
Well, he was just solo. I think it was just Keith and EJ. I forget Keith's last name. And then now he's in a band called Glaze and the Moon Kings. Yeah.
Your dad is like an amazing voice, the deep voice. It's amazing. He was actually told to be on Broadway?
I think so. He's always been told, when you have a voice like just a strong voice like that, he gets told a lot to do voiceover. I mean, I want him to do sign up for like Audible to read books. Yeah, he's been told that a lot, and there's a part of me that's always kind of sad that he never pursued that. But I'm also grateful because it's hard to raise a family as an artist pursuing that. So it's really cool that I get to kind of bring him out to open for me sometimes. He gets to perform in front of these audiences that he's always deserved, but just didn't get a chance to do because he chose a safer route.
And you are Nikki
Glaser, Renee Glaser.
And you emceed the Oscars.
I emceed the Oscars. Did I?
You emceed the Oscars.
Do you mean hosted the Golden Globes?
No, you emceed the Oscars in high school.
Oh my God! Middle school, the Milties, because our theater director was named Milton Zoth, and we called it the Milties. And I was the host of that event. Yes, oh my God. I feel like I didn't even know that about me. I just remembered that. And I won Most Dedicated Performer, which is
for To Kill a Mockingbird?
I believe that was for To Kill a Mockingbird or the musical Sneakers.
The murder comedies.
Or the murder comedies. I also did that. That was my first comedy. But yeah, I was always like a really hard worker. Like Most Dedicated Performer was kind of like felt like not what I exactly wanted to get, but it means I showed up to every rehearsal and I tried really hard. And that's kind of been the through line of my career.
But amazing, from the Oscars to the Golden Globes?
Yeah. From To Kill a Mockingbird, I got I was the understudy for Scout, and the way I got it was the first time I ever was in a play or on stage ever. I had really, really bad stage fright in 7th grade, to the point where I would have to do class presentations during recess for my teacher alone, because I would shake too badly in front of those kids, and I just had panic attacks about it. Looking back now, I know that's what it was. But I remember coming home crying because it was like, I really want to be in this play, but I have to audition in front of my classmates. And my dad was like, that's bullshit. And so he called our theater director and was like, can Nikki just have a private audition? And he said, yeah. And then I got to be in the play. And that's how it happened. But I was a real big pussy.
How does Madame Kalfas fit into this?
I love her so much. She was my French teacher, and I'm not even good at French. She was just someone who was, like you have a teacher that's just so kind and kind of sees something in you that maybe other people don't see. And I was like an anxious kid and kind of quiet, and she was just so gentle and kind. And my sister actually ended up working with her for 10 years. My sister was a teacher at my high school and worked beside her in the language department, and she's still just as fantastic. And we DM, and but it's just shows that like no matter what kind of subject you teach, you can always have an impact on a student that might not be even interested or good at the subject. And she's one of those kind people that made me feel like she just always said I was very sensitive, and I had never been described that way. It was always like, you're annoying or you're anxious or what's wrong with you. But saying you're sensitive is like kind of a beautiful way to say those things, and it made me like be nicer to myself, I think.
What's it like to live near a McDonald's?
Oh, it was heaven. Grew up on Blaze Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri. They built a McDonald's like a month after we moved in. I was in second grade when we moved. I was the first kid to ever play in the ball pit there because we went up and the construction workers were still working on it. And we were like, can we go in there? And so I think the only time it's safe to be in a ball pit is the first time, like otherwise it's like a petri dish. So we got to, there was always like the wafting smells down the street. It was amazing. That was one of the coolest things of my childhood.
But you like playing in the creek?
Oh, love a creek. Oh, you get up to no good in a creek. Now I look back and I'm like, that was kind of dangerous. But yeah, just finding creeks that like weave through suburbs, go back there, eventually like start stealing cigarettes from your parents, smoking them down by the creek. There's like never been a time where I felt cooler in my life than like smoking like butts, like, like a millimeter of a cigarette that is still good because you picked it up off the ground and saved it or stole it from your mom. I just told her recently I owe you probably a couple $100 from stealing cigarettes from you as a kid.
Pioneer Park?
Pioneer Park. That's a park that I went to a lot that is named after the Kirkwood Pioneers. That was the mascot of my high school. Yeah. What happened at Pioneer Park?
I was curious. Have you carved your name ever into a tree and gone back?
Oh, Lowellmeyer Park. Yes. Okay, so that was senior year of high school. God, you're good. I got arrested at Lowellmeyer Sculpture Park because my friend and I were going there to smoke weed, like everyone did, and we were there was like this sculpture in the woods that like had a lot of people would carve their names in, and we were back there, and the cops like followed us in, and we didn't really see them see us, and then as soon as we saw cops like lingering around, it was like in the deep woods, like it was kind of creepy that these cops were like following two little girls. And we were carving our name. We just suddenly were like, oh, we got to act like we're carving our names, not smoking weed. And then they were like, what are you doing? And we were like, we're carving our names. And they're like, that's vandalism. We like forgot that was a crime. And so then, and then they were like, can we check your bag for weed? And we were like, we don't have weed. We've never done that. We'd never do that. And then they eventually were like, well, then you can stay here and we'll just bring out the dogs. And we're like, oh God, the dogs. So then we handed over our purse and they found weed. And then they searched my parents' car for weed. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, good luck. Like, my parents don't have weed. Little did I know there's probably some weed in there. So we got lucky that they didn't find it. But then I cried and pretended I was going to Harvard in the spring. So I cried and was like, this is going to...
How old were you?
Senior in high school. And so I was just like, this is going to ruin everything. And then they let us go.
You can cry on command?
I think so. I think I was so scared I was probably able to just elicit it naturally. But we had like marks on our hands from the cuffs and we felt so cool. So we went up to our high school and showed all our friends.
They actually cuffed you?
They cuffed us and let us out of the park for like a half a mile walking past all these hikers. It was so embarrassing. I've been cuffed a couple times in my life, and it's literally, that's I think the worst part of getting arrested is just like the embarrassment of people around you being like, ugh, what did she do? Like, it's just a helpless feeling. It's the worst.
Westport, Maryland Heights,
Yes.
the comedy table that you saw the flyer at.
Yeah. So I did stand-up comedy the first time at school in Boulder when I was going there my freshman year, and I told my dad, and it went really well, and he was very encouraging, and so he took me to the Funny Bone at the open mic at the Funny Bone in St. Louis.
But didn't somebody rip down a flyer? Who ripped down the flyer to show you?
Yes, that was at Colorado. So everyone was at Colorado was telling me you should be a stand-up comedian, and I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do, so I was like, I guess I'll try that. And then I started watching comedy. I became obsessed, and I was like, I think I can do this. And so then but before that, my friend was like, I just signed you up for this. And she came in my dorm room and slapped this flyer down on my desk. And it was like, to pull these little tabs to sign up to email. And she stole the flyer so like no one else could sign up. But I signed up or she signed me up and I did it. And it was like the best feeling I've ever felt in my life, like getting laughs and feeling like I was good at something finally. And so then my dad, when I came back for the summer, took me to the Funny Bone. And then on the table during the open mic, there was a little table tent and it said, sign up for a comedy class this summer. And so I signed up for that. And people make fun of comedy classes, but I think they're a great place to meet other comedians and just like learn the basics of what you're supposed to be doing up there. Cause it's like, there's really no rule book. It's hard to break in. So I always recommend comedy classes. I'm running one right now. No, I'm not. Yeah.
What about the drill sergeant? Didn't a drill sergeant apologize to you after you did a show?
Yes. Okay. So I got a lot of opportunities.
That's in the early days.
Yeah, early. So this was like a couple years in, maybe even less than that. I was getting a lot of opportunities early because, it's like it was rare to see like a young girl kind of have any kind of potential. So I had like 3 minutes of jokes maybe, but then I was getting gigs for like, you do 20 minutes. So I would kind of put an act together and I went up and I was in the Des Moines Funny Bone and I bombed so hard and they hated me and they were take off your top and that was my closer and I didn't want to do it yet. So I just ran off stage crying and which has never happened to me before or since. And I hid in this back room because I thought the manager would be so mad at me and I was sitting on this industrial sized like can of tomato paste and I was on the phone with my mom crying and saying like, what am I doing? This is like the worst feeling. Like it went from being the best feeling to the worst feeling I've ever felt. And then the manager came back and was like, I want to talk to you. And I was like, oh my God, here it is. I'm getting fired. I'm supposed to do 7 shows there this whole weekend. This is the first night. And he's like, the drill sergeant who's here with, he's here with all these guys from the local army base. This was their night off. And they decided to go to a comedy show. They want to get drunk and like talk. They don't want to listen to like a girl talk about her period. And so they heckled me, which is fine. But he said, those boys, the drill sergeant, he was like, he wants to talk to you. And he came up to me. He's like, I'm so sorry. Those boys are going to suffer tomorrow. They think they have a day off. They do not, and they don't know yet, but they are going to run so much. They're going to be hungover. They're going to do the hills. They're going to do push-ups. So that felt really good. Like, I don't want anyone to suffer because they got drunk and were just, like, trying to have a good time. But there was a part that was like, yeah. Like, I felt, it just felt good that someone stuck up for me. It didn't change the fact that I felt really bad. I mean, even when I have a bad set, I always blame myself. Like, even if the crowd sucks, it's like, I should find a way to make that crowd like me. I just, it's so, yeah, that still haunts me, that set.
What about Old Main on the UC campus?
Yeah, that was my first, the CU, Colorado, University of Colorado campus. Old Main was the place that I did my first show. And
who was your friend that held up the phone?
My friend Catherine.
Could you explain about that? That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was my first set.
Like your parents care.
Yeah, and my parents were so sweet. Well, I was like, it's like a whole depressing thing, but I was like kind of dying at the time of anorexia. I had a really bad eating disorder. It was like beyond like help. Like I was gonna die. Like, and I wanted to. And then I kind of like got recommended to do comedy and I go, let me just give this a whirl. Maybe it'll give me some, like, maybe who knows? And then I went on stage and I was like, oh my God, like I need to figure out how to survive. Like this is a reason to live. Like this felt so good. But it was really sweet because my parents were obviously so worried about me and had like kind of given up hope of like how to save me because it's just like, if anyone's ever dealt with anorexia and eating disorders, you know that like, it's just like parents are just like, what the fuck do we do? So my parents were kind of in that state. And so my friend Catherine like held her phone so my dad could listen to my set. And then so he heard how well it went, and then I called him when I got off stage because I love, they're like my best friends, my parents, and I was like, Dad, I know what I want to do for the rest of my life, which was just like, that was a way of kind of telling my parents like, I'm gonna get through this. Because before that, I was just like, I want to die. I don't see a life for myself. I don't care about anything. And so we both like cried. I think it was like the only time that's ever happened. I remember just being backstage, literally crying on the phone with my dad about like, I found it. I found like my purpose, my calling.
What an amazing moment.
It was like out of a movie. I can't believe it was even real, but I just knew, like, I don't have many moments like that where like love at first sight or like, you just, I had been waiting for that for so long because I just was always wanting to be a performer, but I was never good at anything, like you just have something in your heart that you're like, I know I'm meant to do this and how am I going to do it? And I just had never considered stand-up comedy. So it just felt like it was the answer to my prayers. And I wasn't even praying at the time, but it was really, I would be dead without stand-up comedy. I really do believe that. And not to be dramatic, but it just really did save my life.
And you are Nikki
Glaser.
Glaser, and you're from St. Louis, so I have another gift for you, a St. Louis gift, some Red Fox.
Red Fox!
From
yes!
St. Louis.
One of the most, legendary comedians of all time, Red Fox from St. Louis. This is great, and this is what a cool album.
And you've played the Fox Theater.
And I played the Fox Theater, and yes, and I'm gonna play it again. And the Fox Theater in St. Louis is like one of the coolest venues I've ever played, and I live down the street from it, so it's like that's really cool in your hometown to be able to like play the place and be like, I made it, you know.
Like, laugh your ass off by Red Fox for Nikki
Glaser
from St.
Louis.
From St. Louis, also from St. Louis, Sexy Red, the rapper.
Oh, love her. I saw your interview with her. What a sweetheart.
Have you ever made a mistake of thinking that's somebody, but it wasn't somebody?
No, but you know what? Okay, this is a weird thing for me. When I meet someone I'm a really big idol of, and I kind of black out. Like, I don't remember it because I just can't. I can't even explain what happens. But I met Larry David in Hawaii. I was doing shows with Bill Maher of all people, and Larry David came to see our show. And I said to Larry David, nice to meet you. And he said, we've met before. And I did not remember. And I still don't remember where. Maybe we didn't. I don't know. But that was like a moment. And then I had to be like, no, when I meet my icons, like, I don't remember, which is like, sounds like bullshit. Like the whole Brad Pitt, I don't remember faces thing. It's like, no, you probably just, it's okay if you don't remember faces. You meet a lot of people. But that was one that sticks out to me of like, ooh. But
what about the Jazz House in Kansas City?
What about it? Yeah, that place was cool. That was a cool bar to go to, get wasted, make out with a saxophone player, like shoot your shot, just have a good time with friends. I remember a guy, like one time I like had this crush on this guy, and there were like these candles on the table, and I was with my friend, and it was kind of like me being like, check out this guy I like. And my friend, we were like kind of all flirting, and he was like, can you do this thing where you like hold your hand over the candle and wait for it to snuff out? So it kind of hurts, but the flame goes out. So my friend did it, and he was like, you can do it. And she's like, ow. And then he goes like this and holds it on. And then the next day she had a huge burn on her hand. And I was like, he's going to feel so bad. Because I was like, I liked this guy. And I'm like, oh, he would never do that to you. And the next time we saw him, she was like, look what you did. And he was like, sucks. And I was like, no. And so I dated him, but I didn't like it. No, I didn't date him. And that was it for me, like that kind of, but that happened at the Jazz House, I remember.
Tennessee Street. Your name? Is it still on the walls?
Listen, I thought it was because
where is that?
I called
in Colorado, right?
No, that
Denver?
was actually Kansas, University of Kansas. I transferred after my freshman year, Colorado. I transferred to University of Kansas in Lawrence, and my friends and I went down to the basement one time, and there was all these people that had written stuff on the walls, and I remember writing, I'm Nikki Glaser, and I'm going to be famous someday. I think I was going through a rough time where all my friends were kind of like, you think you're so cool. I didn't think I was cool, but I could just tell, like, they didn't believe in me, and I needed to just, like, write it. And I was like, this would be awesome if it happened. If it doesn't, who cares? But, like, how cool if it happens? So I wrote that, and then I went back there 2 summers ago and knocked on the door and had these hungover college kids invite me down in the basement where things got weird. No, nothing happened, but it could have. And Blair Witch. And so I looked for it. I couldn't find it though. But I swear to God I did. Like, I used to just say that to people of like, yeah, and I'm going to be famous someday. Like, not all the time. I wasn't like bragging, but I would just say it to weird people that I knew would remember. So it's like a little gift for them when someday I do. And they go, oh my God, she called her shot. Like, I just like, I think I believed it so hard there because there was no other option. I felt like, and famous is like a dumb word to say, but it was just like, it's not dumb. Like, I just wanted people to know me and like me, which I know is like disgusting when people are like pursuing fame, but I kind of like, I defend it because it just means people like you and that they're going to protect you and look out for you. And that's like a good thing to have in a society. Like, it's going to get funky coming up, with climate change and war or something. And if I'm recognizable, they might be like, get in my bunker. We like you. So it's like, fame equals like survival. Not like
People do that lots on Twitter now, don't they?
what?
Like they refer to an old tweet where they predicted what would happen.
It's just a cool thing to do, you know, like Dochi, like all of her YouTube videos coming up where she was like, I just got like fired today, and just seeing someone before they were famous. And it gives hope to people that like, oh, maybe if I believe it enough, that can happen. My dreams can come true too. You know, I think it's cool. I'm glad I did it, but I couldn't find it on the wall.
Nikki Glaser, thank you, Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen. Oh my God. Why is that ring? Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen.
Okay. When did I say that? What is that from? Because that's ringing a bell.
Thank you, Ellen, for the Taylor Swift calendar.
Thank you, Ellen. Indirectly, Ellen. Oh my God. Oh, dance queen. She had the show, obviously. My roommate in 2008 was working as an assistant at William Morris. She got tickets to go to the Ellen show. Taylor Swift, it was her first time on the Ellen show, probably her first time doing daytime TV on that kind of scale. And my roommate came home with a calendar, a Taylor Swift calendar. And we had it on our coffee table forever because it was kind of a joke, because it was like a little, like a young country artist girl. Like that wasn't kind of the music I listened to. Like it wasn't a joke, but it was just like, and I would flip through it when I would get home drunk, like eating, you know, my 7th bowl of cereal and just like
What
kind
type of cereal?
Oh, well, it's probably
Captain Crunch?
honey bunches of oats with almonds. Was probably it. And Rice Krispies I like. But I remember just going through it and being like, she's so cute, but she was just like ever present on our coffee table. And then turns out she's like my, you know, favorite artist of all time.
And now you're the Taylor Swift of comedy.
I mean, that is that's something that people have called me because I've asked them to, but I'm glad it's catching on.
And you have everything of Taylor Swift's, don't you?
I have a lot. I like memorabilia. I like to surround myself with the things I like. So I have a lot of art of her. And yeah, I like to wake up and see a picture of her, just kind of like I just kind of go like I wink at sometimes her picture that I have of her, because I want to have she inspires me. Like she believes in herself. She's true to herself, and she's a hardworking girl. Like yeah, I like to be surrounded by people who inspire me. I have like Howard Stern up. Like I have like all Conan. Just that's what I decorate my apartment with, is like pop icons or like culture icons.
Well, I have a gift for you, Nikki Glaser, right here, a Taylor Swift air freshener.
Oh my God, I love this. This is from her music video, Anti-Hero. And this is such a cute outfit. And it says, it's me, hi. And I probably won't use it because I think these are kind of toxic, but I will keep it in the package and have it someday, and it'll be like an artifact that I can sell. My nieces can sell on eBay when I'm dead.
Well,
but
Nikki,
then I would never sell it.
I like the collector scum mentality. I like that.
Yeah, I would never open this, but I'm so grateful. Thank you.
No problem. But I have another thing for you. A Swiftie activity book, a gift.
I legit almost bought one of these today at the airport in Victoria on the way here.
And you can open up to some of the anointed pages.
Thank you. This book belongs to, I'll put my name there. Thank you so much. Guess the song. Okay. Love Story, Shake It Off, Vigilante shit, Beach, Snow on the Beach, Bad Blood, I Want to Be Your Endgame, White Horse, and then, I don't know, Dreaming?
Answers at the back. Save that one. Answers are at the back.
Okay.
Answers are at the back.
You Belong to Me, Wildest Dreams, that makes more sense. And then the other one I couldn't get was, which one was, this one was, I kind of am thinking that might... Anti-Hero. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, but I did pretty good, I think. See, I like this. Usually when people do drawings of you don't look good. Like, drawings never, capture you, but, this is... I love when they capture her. Wow, that's a beautiful picture. I think she would co-sign on that. I doubt she's making any money off of this book, but you know what? I'm sure she's okay with that. And then what is
some fun Taylor facts?
Cool. Taylor's favorite animal. Cat. How many songs are dedicated to ex-boyfriends? As many as most artists, honestly. Taylor's favorite TV show, CSI. What is Taylor's second name? Allison? Like her middle name? Taylor is. Do you guys say second name instead of middle?
I say middle.
Okay, but that's what that means, right? Her second name. Right. Taylor never published this item she made when she was 12. I don't know that. Taylor appeared in a movie about a special holiday, Valentine's Day, I think it was. At what age did Taylor win her first talent show? Probably in utero. Like, this girl is so talented. It was probably like she was like 2 months in her mom's stomach. Taylor is afraid to fall in these shoes. I guess platform shoes. Favorite shoes to wear? Probably Cads.
And let's stop right there because
I don't want to stop.
well, I want you to save something for later.
yeah, for
Save
later,
something for
for
later.
later. I gotta do
but that's some
something
more
on the plane.
Taylor Swift stuff for you.
Thank you so much.
Lastly, I have another gift for you, Nikki Glaser, in this bubble wrap right here.
Okay.
In this bubble wrap.
Oh my God. Adding it to my collection. I already have one of these, but this is a different one. It is a prayer candle. I think this is what they're
Saint
Taylor Swift. Gorgeous.
Oh, you already
picture.
have one. Oh, no.
It's a different picture. No, I can have a collection. I love that. It's like I'm gonna have multiples of these. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I didn't mean to make you feel
That's
bad.
fine.
I
That's-
already have this. We've met before.
No, where did you
That's
get
a real
it?
we've met before of gifts.
Where did you get yours?
It was gifted to me by like fans give me Taylor Swift stuff all the time, and it's so nice.
You've not got any air fresheners, though, before. Or have you got a Taylor Swift air
Not one
freshener?
like that. Not one like that.
Not one like that, but you have got.
No, I think I have before though. Yeah, I have some. I actually have like 20 on a shelf at home. But honestly, not as good as that one.
And you
The
like
other ones are trash.
And you like this? Really?
Yeah, I'm
You said they're toxic, sort of.
Yeah, like the smells. Like artificial smells aren't good for us. I think we're just realizing that.
But you also like to share Taylor with your mom, don't you?
I
Like
do.
in Vancouver.
I went to Vancouver. I went to the last Taylor Swift show of the Eras Tour in Vancouver with my mom. My mom,
Now, how much of a hassle was that? Because you don't live in Vancouver.
oh, it was a hassle, but nothing's a hassle for Taylor. Like, I'll go to the ends of the earth, literally. So, yeah, I was like on tour the night before, I think, and then I flew to Vancouver. I think I had done like 3 nights in.
What did you cancel?
What did? Oh, I did cancel something. Okay, so I was supposed to. They don't know this. I'm so sorry to everyone involved that doesn't know this. But I did want to tell you the truth, but we just didn't tell the whole truth. We just said I was busy, but you didn't ask specifics. But we would have said, because I told my publicist, I'm not ashamed I'm going to Taylor Swift concert, and that's why I can't go. But I was supposed to like be at the It was the day the Golden Globes nominees were announced, and as the host, I was supposed to be there to be like, "This is exciting," and I was excited. But I had plans to go to Taylor Swift, so I told my publicist like, "I can't go," and she's like, "Well, they really want you there, but we're gonna say you're busy, and it'll sound like you're on tour." And I'm like, "I don't like to lie," and she's like, "It's not a lie. We're saying you're busy." And I go, "But if they ask, we have to be honest." But they never asked, so I was seeing Taylor instead of doing my due diligence as a host.
And you brought your mom, which isn't cheap, is it?
No, it's not cheap to bring friends. Like, I like going to shows alone. I'd have no problem going to. I did go to Taylor Swift alone a couple times and made friends, and but it's always fun to share it with someone. And my mom, I got to see her become a Swiftie, which was like a cool thing to witness because I knew she had it in her, and she just wasn't letting it in yet. And then I kind of like forced her hand. Like, I was just like, "You got to go to these shows with me." And she dressed up, and then I would like pretty much transcribe the whole concert, the like abridged versions of songs, the stuff she says in between, so my mom could have the lyrics to read, so she could really understand the depth of the musicality and the lyricism.
Why did you transcribe them? Like you could get them off the internet, like off Genius or something.
I did, but then I had to edit them because she like does different versions of them, and they're like shortened, abridged versions for the set. So I went through and did the whole 46 song set list, and so my mom would like read it and look up, and it really was like a helpful thing for the concert going experience because you could read ahead, and she kind of knows the melody, but she didn't know the lyrics, and it's fun to sing along. So I really recommend that, like, and have no shame about not knowing lyrics if you go to a show, especially like a Taylor Swift show where you're like, "I'm gonna be the only one who doesn't know." No, you're not. It's okay. You can be a new fan at a show where everyone's an old fan, and bring the lyrics, look at them, or don't. Just like have a good time, bop 'em around. But my mom is now a certified Swiftie.
And speaking of St. Louis, I want to ask you right here, Nikki, what can you tell the people about
Ludo! Oh my God, this is my boyfriend's brother's band, Ludo. Tim Convey is in the band, and it's they're just fantastic. They were really big, like in the mid-aughts. And
They did like the Warped Tour, Leno.
Oh, yeah. They still have a big following, and they do Ludoween, which is in St. Louis, which is like 3 days in St. Louis. All Ludo fans flock to town. There's like people with, Ludo, the kids named after Ludo songs and tattoos and stuff. Like they're like Swifties for this band. And they're so good. Broken Bride, I feel God in a catalytic converter and Topeka on a one day night. Topeka is a really good Ludo song if you want to check it out. I love them. And they're my favorite song that they do is sorry, I didn't mean to throw that disrespect to Ludo. Sorry. Is
But Tim comes on tour with you sometimes.
Yeah, he does. He's a comedian now.
And you feel the punk tonight.
Yes, he does. He does punk to Disney, like he does Disney punk. And so people come out and see and he does punk shows for Christmas songs and stuff. Yeah. He's a great musician and a great comedian now.
The Mountain Goats, vintage vinyl.
Oh my God! Wait, what? Why Vintage Vinyl? Vintage Vinyl is an amazing record store in St. Louis, but the Mountain Goats, oh my God, love. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. You know what? The Mountain Goat song I just got into, you know, like the one "No Children" is just amazing, and just they have like songs about depression that are like funny, and everything I just feel like it's very raw, and I feel like it's accessible to me. I like sometimes musicians that sound like the guitar kind of sounds buzzy and kind of like fucked up because I'm not good at guitar. So I feel like I can, even though he's an amazing guitarist, I feel like I can maybe do it. You know,
How'd you get into them?
I think it was like I'm going to give credit to a professor I had that introduced me to him. Maybe Adam Denoyer at KU. I think maybe he got me into him. Or maybe it was Shannon Hatch. Sorry. Comedian Shannon Hatch in LA. She was the one that introduced me to them. And No Children. And then the other one, I forget the other song too that everyone knows, but that's really good. The Mess Inside. The Mess Inside is the one that's like about a relationship that's like they're trying to get it back, but they can't. And he goes back to all the places where they like used to be in love and it's like not happening for them. I listen to that song sometimes when, you know, things aren't great in a relationship that I'm in. I like will play that song to like pretend like I'm in the movie of my life and that's the soundtrack. Do you ever do that?
Occasionally, I love when there's liner notes for records. Like I'm used to like buying the record, the vinyl, and reading the liner notes and listening to the record.
Yes.
Nikki Glaser, thank you, Paula Abdul.
Thank you, Paula Abdul. Oh my God, dancer, singer, one of the first CDs I ever bought, but she is the reason that I did The Tonight Show for the first time. January 27th, 2009, I woke up at 11 a.m., hungover to a call from a private number. It was The Tonight Show asking me if I wanted to be on the show that day because they had already approved my set to do the show, but they had not booked me for like years after they approved my set. So I was like, they're never going to have me on. But Paula Abdul dropped out that day. She wasn't feeling well, so I got to fill in. And it was me, Rainn Wilson, and Hoobastank.
Now it's big for you, wasn't it?
Big.
That is big.
Hoobastank. I mean, I will say, it was huge, but I loved it because I didn't have time to be nervous. Like usually you get the Tonight Show and it's like 4 weeks away. So you're just like, and you're just practicing all the time and thinking about it and overthinking. And this was like, I had to go get a dress. Like I got to figure out what my hair and stuff. So I was distracted all day. And then I just showed up at the studio, did it, and boom. Like no family was there, no fanfare. I just chugged one of Rainn Wilson's beers because he had beer in his green room. I didn't because they probably knew I had a problem at that time. And so I chugged a beer to feel like calm. And then I went out and I had a great set. And then I got called over to the couch, which like, it meant something. Like Jay was like, hey, come here, you know. And then I went over and Rainn Wilson said, great job. And I said, thanks, Dwight. Because to me, he was Dwight Schrute. So I called him Dwight, not as a joke, literally thought that was his name. And then I watched that back later and go, oof, that was bad. But I bet he's used to it.
It's such a landmark to be on that show
Yes.
back then. Like you walked into like a subway and tried to get like a foot long and were recognized in a subway?
Yes. Okay. So the next day, you think your life is going to change after the Tonight Show.
And it did.
Yeah. Well, I had sort of like a huskier voice back then. I had vocal cord surgery recently, so I'm kind of getting back to it, but I really had like a huskier, I like to say big bone, but it was kind of a distinct voice. I think I still have it kind of, but the next day, I thought my life was going to change. No one called. No one cared. It didn't change my life at all, but I did go to Subway, and the girl making my sandwich, as she was making it, she was looking down, and then she heard me say, like, can I get some more lettuce? And she looked up and she goes, were you on The Tonight Show last night? And I was like, oh, yes. And then after that, nothing. Yeah, that was it.
So it was the lettuce.
It was the lettuce. It was the way I said lettuce. Yeah.
What do you usually eat? Like what's your favorite things to eat?
Oh
like
my
back then it was lettuce and
Oh, yeah. No, I mean like, I still love lettuce because sometimes I am a vegan and I love vegetables and I like healthy food. It's a hangover, I think, from my days when I was anorexic. I don't have any disorder anymore, but I just learned to love healthy food. So I eat massive amounts. And one time a comedian, Sherrod Small, shout out, he saw like, he came up, we ran into each other at a dinner and he looked at my table and he was just like, damn, Nikki, you eat like a runaway rabbit. And I just love that because that's how I eat. I just eat like, it's the only food I'll have for the rest of the month. And I just eat and eat and eat. So it's a lot of salads, a lot of hummus, a lot of vermicelli. I'm really into bun right now, like Vietnamese bun.
And you are Nikki
Glaser.
And Nikki Glaser, what exactly is going on here? Last comic standing.
Oh my God. Is that Bill Bellamy? Yeah. Oh my God. Look at like how stony I look. Like that is like, what am I trying to do here? That is, I definitely knew I was on camera, trying to look cool, trying to look like intense. My friend Lizzie Cooperman was on this season of Last Comic Standing. This was, I think, the season after I had been voted off. So I was probably just there being like, I'm back. And I was like, I wasn't pissed. I was actually like happy to be there. That's my friend Isaac Whitty. There's Matt Kirshen. A lot of comedians. I don't know her. But yeah, I was on camera for that. That is a weird poll. But I was just supporting my friend Lizzie Cooperman, who was performing on it.
Quote, I've been on Comedy Central as an audience member.
Yes. That was my first television appearance was Comedy Central's Insomniac tour with Dane Cook, Dave Attell, Sean Rouse, Greg Giraldo. And I just bought a ticket to the show because I was a massive Dane Cook, Dave Attell, Greg Giraldo fan. And I went to Vegas with my friends from college. We bought a ticket to the show. We didn't even know it was a taping, but it ended up being a taping. They saw us as two young girls and were like, do you guys want to be in the front row so we can like put you on camera? And we were like, hell yeah. Then they invited us to the after party. We were like, oh my God, I'm going to have sex with Dane Cook. Like that wasn't in my mind because I was like a virgin at the time, but like I was like, maybe I'll meet him. But I told my friend, please don't mention I'm a comedian. That is so lame. Like I'm too young. I was very aware that I wasn't good yet. And I didn't want anyone to like meet me then. But we went to the after party and my friend did tell Dane Cook. He was so nice. He took me aside. He gave me great advice about don't move to LA or New York yet. Get really good in a smaller city, then move. Didn't heed it at all. Went to LA too soon. Had to move back to St. Louis years later. Should have listened to Dane. And then I also hung out with Greg Giraldo all night and like talked about comedy. It was like we had such an intimate conversation. It was amazing. We became like really like friends. We exchanged numbers. Like, and I was blackout drunk the whole time. I don't remember any of it, but I have photographic evidence and other people witnessed that we talked. But now he's dead, and I'm like, God, I wish I wouldn't have drank. I wish I would have like absorbed that conversation. So one of the many reasons I don't drink anymore.
From alcohol to lemonade, fueled by lemonade?
Fueled by lemonade.
You were fueled by lemonade, hydrogen lemonade. You didn't add.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So there was a car that was fueled by hydrogen, like water. It was called I forget what it's called, but it was my first commercial I ever got, and it paid like more money than you like have ever. It was like looked like a phone number, the price, and so I was like so excited. And then I got to set, and everything that was like for me, like my trailer and everything, it was all labeled Samantha B because she had gotten it originally and dropped out. So
Who canceled?
Yeah, another Paula Abdul. Like, yeah, she canceled or like couldn't do it. So I filled in and I was the spokesperson for this car that doesn't exist anymore because you could run it on lemonade. And so I was like in all these shots with these kids at the lemonade stand, and it was a big commercial shoot. It was like one of my first big gigs, and I haven't been like the ambassador of a brand since. Really looking forward to that though at some point.
Winding up here, Nikki Glaser, I wanted to ask you about, and I have a gift for you, this comedian right here, a Joan Rivers record.
Joan Rivers, this
from 1965, her first LP.
Mr. Phyllis. What do you think that's in reference to? Like Phyllis Diller? Like, why Mr. Phyllis? Well, I guess we'll have to see. What year is this?
1965.
Wow.
And you did a tribute to her, didn't you?
I did. I was just on, it's going to air, I think, when is it going to air, Sean?
Oh, actually, Nikki, who do we have in the room right now?
My
if we could,
openers tonight. That's Sean O'Connor. That's Emily in the Stripes. She's my assistant and friend. And these are all my friends. And then Emily Catalano. I don't know if she's in the shot too. Is she, Emily? Oh, she is. Okay, sorry, Emily, I can't see you. And Emily and Sean are opening for me. They're hilarious comedians. I met them both. I met Sean on MySpace. I found Emily just from watching reels on Instagram and just checking out other comics, and I've been a fan for a while, and this is the first time she's opening for me, and she's killing. Hard to follow.
And eventually that will air. They know when it will air, right?
Yeah, it's going to air at some point this year on NBC and Peacock, but it's a Joan Rivers tribute, and I got asked to present like a monologue about her, and it was like such an honor because obviously she's a huge influence. I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing without her. She was doing abortion jokes on late night TV in the 60s, which is just, you couldn't even get away with now, I don't think. Like, she's just so ballsy. She also is, she's just so smart. She's one of the, there's like, I was just talking to Emily actually about this the other night, about like why we got into comedy, who we liked when we first started out. And it's like, I feel like you kind of absorb this, thing of like women aren't as good at comedy as men, and it's like kind of permeates the culture sometimes. But then there's like these comedians that you see as a female comic that you go, not only is she like a good like a great female comic, like she's like the best, even like she's better than men. Like, and there were a couple of women like that. I mean, many women, but ultimately that stood out to me early on as Joan Rivers is one of the best ever. Sarah Silverman, Kathleen Madigan, Wanda Sykes. I mean, the list goes on and on of like these just women that make you feel like, oh, I can be as good as a man.
Did you get to look at her joke list? Could you explain that? Like, isn't it like card catalog?
Yeah, it's like, well, I think they had it all digitized. So I just went through, and you can literally, there was like, I think 10,000, upwards of maybe even more jokes that she had written and kept track of. And you just type in a keyword and it would pull up all the jokes about that subject. And so when I did my monologue, I was doing it about, I really appreciated how she talked about how her looks, and like how she was kind of obsessed with staying youthful and beautiful and regal and presenting a certain way. And I think people sometimes dismiss female comics of like, you don't need to care about your looks because you're funny. And it's just like, yeah, but we're also smart, and we realize that looks kind of matter in this world. And so don't make fun of us if we try. And they go, well, you don't, stop trying to be a model. You're not a model. And it's like, well, I'm not, but it does help you. And I like that Joan Rivers always was like conscious of looking a certain way and didn't have shame about it, and talked about how she felt ugly growing up, and that was a big motivator for her. And honestly, it's a big motivator for me too. And people, that I feel a connection with Joan with that. And people, my joke is that people say, oh, Nikki, you don't need to worry about, your looks. You're like Joan Rivers. And I'm like, I am, because I'm going to die on an operating table trying to stay young.
Bow.
Bow?
Boom.
Oh, bow boom.
Bow, boom,
Yeah. The boom. Yeah.
Kind of sad bow boom.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she did. I'm just saying the truth. And I probably will too. Dying under anesthesia, probably a good way to go.
I have another gift for you, Nikki Glaser, a 1968 Laugh-In record featuring Lily Tomlin.
Oh, yes.
The phone lady.
Yes. The phone lady?
Yeah, she was on Laugh-In.
Yeah, I've only seen like clips of it where they go like, they come out of a door and go, hello, and then they shut it. What a fun thing to do.
Because you did a tribute to Laugh-In too.
I did. That's right. And I'd never even seen the show. But sometimes you get asked to do something, you go, this is a good opportunity and a fine excuse to learn about something and learn to appreciate it. And I don't know if I did my research on this enough, but I forget what I did for that one. I think it was scripted, so I didn't need to do research, but I should, and I will. I promise.
And
what a cool album.
Yes, and we also a Lily Tomlin 45 from 1977 as well.
Whoa, what was she doing on stage? I'm not really familiar with her stage work of like.
You can check it out.
Oh my God, I'm gonna check it out. One-liners. She has a whole thing of one-liners. Okay, I can't wait. I need to get educated. Thank you so much.
No problem. And winding up here, Nikki, another gift for you, and you mentioned her earlier, her first LP, Phyllis
Diller, Wet Toe in a Hot Socket. I love these names of an album. Like, do you think that is one of the lines in her set?
From 1959.
Wow. I mean, just so bold, so brave. Like, women were just not supposed to be this back then. And we're kind of returning to that kind of vibe of like, women should just be like in service of men and quiet, and like, people don't like loud women that are yelling. It reminds people of their moms telling them to clean the room. Like, it's like triggering. I'm not even mad about it. Like, I get it, but I like women that are just like, I don't care what you think. I'm going to say what I want, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. And she is just such a brave, I look at these women and I just think like courage to be in your face. And by the way, like, I think something that people don't realize is when there's like a comedian that's like, yeah, I'm going to say it, like, especially for me, and I definitely think for Joan, and I bet for Phyllis too, is like, we just want you to like us. It's a weird way to go about it, but I promise, like, we're not trying to make you like leave the show and be like, she's disgusting. Like, if we could dance and sing and act, we would. Like Joan Rivers wanted to be an actress more than anything, a dramatic actress. But it wasn't her thing, so she moved to the thing she could do. So when people sometimes misconstrue that female comics, or me, I guess I can only speak for myself, that like I love to roast and I love when I offend people and they leave, and I like to challenge you. Like I like to challenge people, but I don't like offending people. I want people to like me, and I want people to have a good time. And just, if I offend them, sometimes I'm like, good, well, maybe you needed to hear that. But ultimately, I'm like, I'm sorry.
Well, we have another gift for you, Nikki
Glaser.
Nikki Glaser, some Mom's Mabley from
Oh
1961.
my God, Mom's Mabley at the icon. I mean, one of she's one of the names that gets said of like one of the best comedians that ever lived, and just did it so effortlessly, and it just was who she was. And I think she started late. Maybe I'm just
There's like a Whoopi Goldberg doc on her as well. People can check out.
I got to check that out as well. This is one of my blind spots, and I gotta get educated. There's just too much to consume. But Mom's Mabley is, you ever know, like you just hear about a band or you hear about a movie that you haven't seen, but you know it would be your favorite. Like that's kind of this for me. I'm just waiting. I'm going to be obsessed. Thank you for this so much.
No problem.
This is a big deal.
Thanks for taking this time. Are you still okay for timing? How are we doing for time?
I don't care about the show. I'm doing Nardwuar.
I don't want to interrupt the show.
No, I'm ready to go. I put on my eyelashes. My hair is kind of done. Like I'm good.
Okay, well,
I don't even know what time it is. The show starts at 7. What time is it? It's 6. Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I do care about the show. I want to say I do care about the show. Thank you to everyone who buys a ticket. I just don't need I'm not a performer who needs to meditate or alone time before I go on stage. Like I could run right on stage and have as good of a show as if I spent time alone doing a breathing exercise.
What's it like playing casinos?
It's good because they have a lot of money and they give you nice gifts, and you stay usually at the casino, so there's not you don't have to get
so the party continues to the room?
Yes. And they just and the people that go there are, I don't know, they're just big rooms, and they treat you really well because I'm just going to be honest, the casinos have a lot of money and they like to spend it on entertainment, and they don't like I still go against it, but they don't even want the shows to be that long because they want people to be gambling, so they're like, do 40 minutes. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do an hour. But if I ever go yeah, that's just, you're not expected to do an hour and a half, which I think is good for comedy. No comedy needs to be over an hour and 3 minutes. That's usually my limit, where I start to feel the audience kind of go we're tired, even if this is good,
Rooster T. Feathers.
Just a ridiculous comedy club name. Where is it? It's in Sacramento, right? Sunnyvale. Yes, thank you. Rooster T. Feathers. Great club. Yeah, I've always had a great time there. I'm trying to think of any memories. Good hotel, good
Think about things like Wise Guys in Salt Lake.
Wise Guys, Go Bananas, Funny Bone, Stanford and Sons, Charlie Goodnights, Marco's Island Adventure Club. What are the
20 years
20 almost
of working those clubs?
Yeah, I think it's over that at this point. Yeah, so many clubs. I love clubs because you get to know the staff, you get to know the vibe of it. No one knows who you are. When you're working clubs, you're not that famous, so you just can wander around. Not that I'm can't go out or anything now, but it's just, you know what I liked about it is that the people that would go see your show didn't really know who you were, so they're just going to a comedy club. We'll just see what's there. And then you get the bar is low, and you get to be impressive, and they go, I'm gonna remember you. And now I feel with shows they're expecting something, so I have to try harder, and I do. But at clubs you were kind of well, they don't even know who I am, so I can just be whatever I want. But they were really fun, and your career goes like this. I'm on this right now, but someday I'll be on this, and not because I'm any worse off of a comedian. It's just the industry. That's what happens, and I can't wait to go back to clubs and have that kind of low ceiling, intimate crowds kind of. I can't wait for that vibe again.
Emo's Pizza. Did you used to spray mayonnaise on the inside of bins there?
Yes. Oh my God. I can just smell it as you say it. Yeah, it was, I worked at Emo's Pizza, which
in St. Louis.
In St. Louis during high school. And yes, we used to clean out, my jobs was cleaning the bins of mayonnaise, and I hate mayonnaise, always have. And I would spray hot water in it, and the hot water mayonnaise mist would make me gag. And yeah, that was part of my job. But
and you also went to the sidewalk and smoked cigs from the sidewalk?
Definitely. I don't even remember what that would be from. I'm sure. Yeah,
people threw them down.
Oh yeah. That's what I was saying before. We would we couldn't buy cigarettes, so we would just take cigarettes that people had smoked, strangers, and get hepatitis probably from it. No, I mean, yeah, we would just do disgusting things to get a buzz.
And what about TJ Maxx meeting your boyfriend?
TJ. Oh. Okay, so I have a joke that my boyfriend is short, but he has like a hot face, and the way that I got him is that like if you want to get a hotter guy than you deserve as a girl, you got to take hits elsewhere. So I went short, and that's like it's like getting a designer sweater at TJ Maxx. Like it's a little beat up. Other people might have discarded it, but yeah. So it's like I went digging in the bargain bin for my boyfriend, and he likes the joke, I think.
Nikki Glaser, your mom found a Wilco painting at a thrift store?
Yeah, she found Sky Blue Sky, like a painting, or like I guess a big canvas blow up of the album Sky Blue Sky, which is one of my favorite album covers. It has like a bunch of birds on it. And it's one of my favorite albums. Yeah, and that my parents are big Wilco fans. They were always like, in college, they really got into Wilco, and that was a phase of my life where I was like, my parents aren't cool, and I was like kind of resisting it because my sister then got into Wilco, and I was like, why does my whole family love this band Wilco? Finally, I gave it a listen, and man, it was like, I mean, the way I feel about Taylor Swift, I became obsessed. Like I love Wilco, one of my favorite bands of all time, and then I got to do carpool karaoke with Jeff Tweedy. Dream.
And Nikki, I have a gift for you and your mom in this cardboard.
Wilco?
Here, if you could pull it out.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Wow, this is so cool. June 9th, 2004, Washington, D.C. Oh my God, this is beautiful. And the Washington Monument.
A silk screen poster.
It's beautiful. They have the best posters. I am literally...
Did he already have that?
No, I don't have this. And you're going to...
No, I mean, you had the air freshener already.
Yeah, it has an air freshener on it. I will be keeping this in a bag. No, I love this. Will you sign it for me? I think that would be cool.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I would love it.
But
This is so cool.
Well, I thought it'd be good for your mom, too.
No, she doesn't need this.
But it is...
No, but
I guess she found the thing in a thrift... That's the thing that's amazing for her to find it in a thrift store.
With them. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's...
Like, how did that... Was she freaked out to find actually Wilco at a thrift store?
Oh, yeah, because they loved Wilco. But my mom goes to, like, 3 thrift stores a day. Like, she goes to Goodwill, like, 3 different Goodwills every single day. So she's finding all kinds of stuff. My mom's, like, favorite thing to do in the world is the G-dubs. And so, like, it was a matter of time. But no, I mean, there's those... If you're a thrifter, you know those moments of, like, oh, my God, this thing I love is, like, right here. So that was one of those moments for her. So cool.
And that's a gift for you and your mom.
Thank
a
you
Wilco
so
poster.
Much. Thanks. I will share this with her. I'll split it in half. No, that'll ruin it. But no, we'll share this. I can't wait.
Nikki
Glaser.
Did you once audition for Francis Ford Coppola?
Yeah, I did. For Megalopolis, the movie that didn't do that great. But they were looking for... I got called in because they wanted like a comedic actress, so like a comedian type person. But I think the role went to Chloe Fineman, which is fine, man. But like it was really cool. Like they brought you in, they did full hair and makeup for you. Like they had a person there and they like dressed you in like this Greek like tiara and braided your hair, and then you went in and you auditioned with him, and you like it was really cool. But again, like I wasn't that familiar with his work. And so I understood the magnitude of it because I know his name and like what it means to people that know. But it's good for me. I love when I like meet someone who's super duper famous that I'm not familiar with their work, because I can then be kind of more chill than I would be if it was like if I was meeting Taylor Swift, I would be shaking, teeth chattering,
Or Larry David?
Or Larry David, same thing. Like I would black out. So it was like, it was a big deal, and he was really nice to me, and he gave me his book and some wine, but not the role.
Quote, Jeff Ross is so unlikable that even Tom on MySpace won't be his friend.
Wait, did I say that?
No, Lisa Lampanelli said
I was going to say, I don't know if I was doing roast when MySpace was topical. I love that. That's a great joke.
Why does everybody pick on Jeff Ross?
Because like you know what, when you do a roast, you have to have an angle, and with Jeff, it's like I guess we'll say he's unlikable, but the truth is he's very likable, and that's part of that's his charm, you know, like he's friends with everyone, and he's so yeah, I think that was just like the angle they took with that one. But yeah, you always have to have an angle, so I guess she picked unlikable.
Like Lisa Lampanelli, amazing, eh? Amazing.
Honestly, one of the best to ever do it, and quit. She's like now a self-help motivational speaker, which is always to me now like, oh, if I ever want to get out of this game, like I can go do that because you still get to perform, you still get to like impact people and talk to them and still be funny. But she gave it up and she was one of like the best ever. Like Lisa Lampanelli roast and Lisa Lampanelli live, seeing her do stand-up. It was one of the first shows I ever went to, and I was like in the third row, and she like roasted me, and she's so quick, and she would just say the craziest stuff but get away with it somehow. I mean, and now she's a friend of mine. I love her so much. And for someone who is one of like says the craziest stuff, the meanest stuff you've ever heard, the nicest person ever. Like that's always kind of the juxtaposition of comedy. Like the nice people who are super clean, Bill Cosby, those are the villains. And then the people who are like really crazy and mean, like they're usually like really super nice. Like that's what I've found kind of. It's not always true, but like look for the people that are projecting like I'm such a good person, and they're probably not.
The Pam and
Did I mention I'm a really good person? No, I'm just kidding.
the Pam and Tommy roast. Did you ever see that?
I did see that.
Did you have a favorite joke that Lisa told from that?
I remember that Courtney Love was kind of on one that night and like heckling people. So it was kind of hard to get a flow because Courtney would be like, I didn't say that. And then Pam was kind of like coddling her and holding her back. We've all been Courtney, by the way, and like, you know, had too much before a thing. And, but yeah, and she had to run a lot of laps the next day and do hills. But what,
Do you have a favorite joke that she has told in one of her roasts, or did something pops in your head?
I mean, you should, first of all, you should watch her roast. I'm sorry I can't like quote her directly because it's the thing about her is she's so rapid fire. You don't retain it because as soon as you want to remember it and you're repeating it, you're on to the next one. So that's really, I definitely had watched her a ton preparing for roast because I wanted to have that too. Like I love like just a machine gun style because, that way if a joke bombs, you're like on to the next one. Everyone forgets about it. And like you just like keep the laughter rolling. So I would check out her specials. I would just like follow her.
How do you know if a joke bombs?
No one laughs. And you can feel it in the, like there's no
You
laugh.
have to have laughter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a non-negotiable. I think that some people don't because like in their head they're killing. Like there are certain comics that every comic knows comics that bomb and they get off stage and they're like, that was amazing. And you just go, what? Like I'm so worried about becoming that comedian who doesn't know when they're doing well. I want to be aware of when I'm not doing well. I don't want to ever get a big enough head that I think I'm killing when I'm not. But yeah, it's pretty obvious because there will be sound and then there's no sound. And the no, yeah. And you can hear the water running through the drains.
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom.
But do check out Lisa Lampanelli.
Absolutely.
And lastly, you're Nikki Glaser. Anything else to add to the people out there at all?
You know, be nice in the comments. I would say that. Like, if you're compelled to write something rude, I promise you I'm not going to read it because I don't read comments. But if someone just says something shitty, like, I get it. I'm always compelled to be like, I want to fucking write something mean.
I would open your DMs, though.
I do, yeah. I think
that's why I contacted you.
Yeah, that's how you did. It was so nice to get that from you. It's like, honestly, it was a gasp moment of like, and like, guess who just DM'd me, like kind of moment in the room. So that was fun. But yeah, just I would say like before you comment, just think that, you know, I think that so many times we watch YouTube videos, and I wish I wasn't like this, but it's true. Like I read the comments to see how to feel about it. Maybe before you read the comments, like watch it and see how you feel before you like don't, because that's how we used to consume media, is like you'd watch a movie without being like, how do people like this? And I find myself sometimes being like, I hate this because a comment says like, this is dumb, and I'm like, yeah, and it's just like from a guy who knows who that is, and he's my Siskel and Ebert for this video I'm watching. So, but you can be mean. I don't care. I'm not going to read it, but I just don't want other people to read it and then be like, yeah, she sucks. But also, I can't control it. So if you hate me, it's fine. I hate myself sometimes.
Did you once get your head stuck in an easy bake oven?
No, but that's a joke I have about not wanting to be a mom, and how like when you're a young girl, like you're given baby dolls and they're like, here, be a mom, and they're like, here's an easy bake oven, get in the kitchen, and I got an easy bake oven, I put my head in it, and so that was my joke.
Nikki Glaser, why should
silence? That was the silence that when you feel like something doesn't go well.
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to say, but I am.
Nikki Glaser, why should people care about Nikki Glaser? Why should people care?
Oh God, that's such a, like, I knew this question was coming and I was like, what am I gonna say? Because whatever you say sounds like braggy, but you should care because I care about making the world a better place. Obviously, I like performing because I like the attention and stuff, but I feel like I use it to like put good out in the world, and if you watch me and I become successful off of that, I promise to do good things with the money, and I am generous, and I am not stingy, and I'm not part of the problem. And that would be my pitch for why. And I'm honest. Like, I might not always be the funniest or the most articulate, or I might be disappointing to people at sometimes, but I promise you I'll admit to that and own up to it. And I'm flawed, and I don't think I'm cool, and sometimes I do, and I'll admit when I do. Like, I just think that's the kind of entertainer I want, is someone who is honest, and I can always promise that I'll always be honest.
Well, thanks so much, Nikki Glaser. Keep on rocking in the free world. And do.
Doot doot.
Yeah.
I think I had to be on stage in like 5 minutes.